Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I want to say thank you for this golden opportunity that held from the International Economic and Business Conference, Universitas Muhammadiyah Makassar. I want to explain my paper with the name of the effect of work discipline and occupational safety and health on employee productivity at PT Cita Kontrak Jakarta. My name is aldini Evandra from the Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Muhammadiyah, Jakarta. This is the background for my study. PT Cita Kontrak is one of the companies engaged in the provision of outsourcing services. This company is one of the outsourcing service providers that collaborate with PT PLN Persero, established since the 1980s, making PT Cita Kontrak one of the large service providers after subsidiary of PT PLN Persero. This is the table from the performance for PT Cita Kontrak Jakarta. From the result of the table above, it shows that there is a suboptimality in the result of the realization, which is very far from the target, especially from the last 2 years, namely 2021, where the realization of work was only 61.3% outperformance based on the target. And there was a drastic decline in 2022, which only managed to get around 49.6%, which is below 50% of the target that had been set. This is suspected to be caused by indiscipline in carrying out the work that should have been carried out by the executor of PT Cita Kontrak or the PT PLN Persero. As we know, work discipline is a tool used by managers to communicate with employees, so they are willing to change the behavior and as efforts to increase awareness and willingness of a person to obey company regulation and applicable social norms. In addition to discipline that affect of work productivity, there is another variable that affect it, namely occupational safety, occupational health and safety, or we call it K3. The study objectives are to determine the effect of work discipline and occupational health and safety on employee productivity at PT Cita Kontrak Jakarta. In this study, the authors test 3 variables, which is work productivity, work discipline, and the last one is occupational safety and health. Literature and review. Work productivity is the ability of employees to produce compared to the input used. An employee can be said to be productive if he is able to produce goods or services as expected in a short and precise time. Work discipline is one of the most important functions of human resource management because good discipline reflects a good person's great sense of responsibility for the task given. Good discipline reflects a person's great sense of responsibility for tasks given to him. Occupational safety and health is important to be implemented and carried out by the business world, especially construction projects, to protect employees or workers from the dangers of work accidents and disease that occur during work. This is some previous study that related to our variable, which is work productivity, work discipline, and occupational safety and health. Research method. Data source. The study uses primary and secondary data. Primary data is obtained by giving questionnaires directly to employees working at PT Cita Kontrak, while secondary data is obtained by analyzing data provided by PT Cita Kontrak and reading books and websites from the companies. Sampling methods. The research uses questionnaire and observation. The questionnaire uses a method of providing a set of questions or written statements to respond to get their answers. The question in this questionnaire are closed and structured, which means that the answers that will be chosen by the respondent are not given the opportunity to choose or provide answer outside the answer given by the researcher. while the observations are carried out to find out how the characteristics and habits of the respondent are related to the research variable in order to further strengthen the result of this study. This is our analysis technique. The first one is data instrument test. We have validity test and reliability test. The next one, classical assumption test. We have normality test, heterogeneity test, and multicollinearity test. And the last one is data analysis method. We have multiple linear regression analysis, and analysis are two determination coefficients. Validity test used to determine whether a questionnaire is valid or not. A model is said to be valid if the significant value below 0.05 or it's 5%. The testing criteria are if R count bigger than R stable, then the instrument or statement item are significantly correlated to the total score. The number of data is 60 and TF 63 minus 3 is obtained. Then the R table is 0.2500. Based on the table above, it shows that all statements from the work discipline variable, occupational safety and health, and work productivity are valid. This is because all statements have a calculated R that is greater than the R table, or calculated R bigger than R table. Reliability test. Based on the table above, it can be seen that all research variables, namely work discipline, occupational safety and health, and work productivity have Cronbach alpha bigger 0.70. So it can be concluded that all instruments in this research variable are reliable. So they can meet the reliability for use in further research. Normality test, we have normal p-plot of regression standardized residual and histogram. Normal p-plot and histogram are represented, which can be seen that the data distribution points have followed the diagonal line. This condition illustrates that the results in the regression model with related variable have been normally distributed. Heterogeneity test. The scatter plot graph illustrated above is the result of heterogeneity testing. Overall, it can be seen that the data distribution points do not form a certain pattern and are randomly spread above and below the number 0 on the y-axis. This condition indicates that the regression model is free from the heterogeneity problems, and it is concluded that the regression model with related variable is worthy of being tested and used in research. Multicollinearity test. Based on the table above, it shows that the VIF, or variance inflation factor, value of both variables has a value of 1.101 is smaller than 10, and the tolerance value of both is 0.908 bigger than 0.10 in the variable used in the study. This shows that there is no perfect or near perfect linear relationship between the independent variables, so that the regression model in the study didn't find multicollinearity problems and has met requirements of a good regression model. Multiple linear regression analysis. Let's take a look on the left side. The table above shows the value of the multiple linear regression coefficient, which are then entered into the regression equation and then interpreted. The results of the multiple linear regression equation are as follows. Equation 1, work productivity is 2.586 plus 0.144 plus 0.790 plus E. Based on the result of linear equation, it can be interpreted. Number 1, the constant value is 2.586 indicates that if the independent variables, namely work discipline and occupational safety and health, are considered constant, then work productivity is 2.586. Number 2, the regression coefficient value is 0.144, meaning that the higher the level of work discipline, the work productivity will also increase. The regression coefficient value is 0.790, meaning that the higher the level of occupational safety and health, the work productivity will also increase. And equation number 2, K3, or we call it occupational safety and health, is 4.300 plus 0.863 plus 0.004 plus E. Based on the result of the linear equation, it can be interpreted as follows. Number 1, the constant value of 4.300 indicates that the independent variables, namely work productivity and work discipline, are considered constant. Then, occupational safety and health are 4.300. The regression coefficient value is 0.863, meaning that the higher the level of work productivity, the more attention to occupational safety and health increase. The regression coefficient value is 0.004, meaning that this number is quite low compared to other values, meaning that there are still few employees who are not disciplined in using occupational safety and health. Analysis up to determination coefficient. Based on the result of the first regression test from the appendix, it can be seen that the adjusted R-square value is 0.600, which means that the work, discipline, and occupational safety and health variable have an effect on work productivity of 60%, while the remaining 100% minus 60% is 40% is influenced by other variables. Based on the result of the second regression test, can be seen that the adjusted R-square value is 0.482, which means that the variable of work productivity and work disciplines on occupational safety and health are 42.8%, while the remaining is 51.8 is influenced by other variables. Statistical hypothesis test result. Based on the table above of the result of the t-test, it is known that the calculated t-value is greater than the t-table value, and the p-value is smaller than alpha. So it can be stated that work discipline has a positive influence on work productivity, so that the hypothesis 1 is accepted. Number 2, based on the table above, on the result of the t-test obtained, it is known that the calculated t-value is greater than the t-table value, and the p-value is smaller than alpha. So it can be stated that occupational safety and health has a positive influence on work productivity. So that the hypothesis number 2 is accepted. Based on the table above, on the result of the t-test obtained, it is known that the calculated t-value is greater than the t-table value, and the p-value is smaller than alpha. So it can be stated that work discipline and occupational safety and health have a positive influence on work productivity. So that the hypothesis number 3 is accepted. The conclusion is work productivity in a company greatly influences the sustainability of the company's reputation. It can be a factor for the other companies to entrust a project to company itself. Moreover, if the company provides services that are needed by many parties, but besides work productivity, there are many variables that greatly influence or support work productivity to be very prominent, namely work discipline and occupational safety and health, or commonly abbreviated as occupational safety and health. Although it is a strong variable to support success, there are also those who are still very indifferent to work discipline and occupational safety and health. For work discipline, many still violate working hours, dress regulations, while for occupational safety and health, there are still those who forget the equipment that the company has provided, such as personal safety equipment, so as not as to be electrocuted, help, shoes specifically for personal safety and others. It turns out that without us realizing it, these two variables greatly influence the optimization of work productivity. Why? Because if one is neglected to be implemented, the productivity of an employee can decrease greatly. Either he is absent due to an accident of work or can be punished for lack of discipline at work. Based on the result of the research that has been conducted, it shows that from the three existing hypotheses, the same results are obtained, namely, work discipline has a significant positive effect on work productivity. Occupational safety and health has a significant positive effect on work productivity. And the last one is work discipline and occupational safety and health has significant positive effect on work productivity. Thank you. That's all from me. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.